Hello, my name is Mark Ellis, and welcome to Roses in the Ocean's position briefing on the contact of emergency services when providing support to people facing imminent risk of suicide. Calling of emergency services when supporting someone with a lived experience of suicide should always be done with caution. We need to be mindful of listening with the intention of understanding the situation of the person in distress and not reacting to a situation based on our own emotions, as contact with emergency services can lead to involuntary treatment, which in itself can be a demoralising experience. Interactions with emergency services during a crisis can be highly distressing for people who are already in a vulnerable state. We need to remember that due to the high demand and limited resources in emergency services, people who are having thoughts of suicide may not receive the level of care and support they need. Long wait times, insufficient follow-up care, and inadequate training of some emergency services staff can lead to inappropriate responses or dismissive attitudes that result in feelings of hopelessness, despair, trauma, re-traumatization, discrimination, and stigma, and further perpetuate the cycle of suicidal thoughts and behaviours, making it even harder for people to seek help in the future. Volunteers need to remember that people retain basic human rights regardless of having thoughts of suicide. People who are seeking support from a lived experience service may also be doing so because they do not wish to engage with an emergency service. We need to be conscious that calling emergency services may not be the only option. For many people, not acting to keep a person safe who is having thoughts of suicide can present ethical issues. Again, there are also legal concerns for Roses in the Ocean, and we need to understand our responsibilities regarding when and how to act to keep those at imminent risk of suicide safe. As you can see, it is a difficult space for a lived experience-led service to navigate, particularly when you consider the challenges for volunteers supporting people in distress who may be vulnerable to being activated themselves by the story of those they are supporting. Volunteers need to be mindful to separate the distress of the person they are supporting from their own emotions and feelings, resisting the urge to immediately call emergency services and assist the person in distress to identify every option to stay safe. The development of the position paper has been a lengthy process, with the original work starting just over a year ago, before the current volunteer team was hired initially with a small team of lived experience peer workers. We agonised over the key concepts and principles that would be needed to make non-clinical peer-led services different to other suicide prevention services. Our challenge stemmed from a desire of wanting these services to be a place that upholds complete autonomy for those having thoughts of suicide. If someone does not want emergency services called to keep them safe from suicide, then we don't call them. However, it was not that simple. The process was difficult, particularly within the clinically governed suicide prevention field of Australia. Roses in the Ocean position is not the most radical, as we have limitations that we have to work within with volunteers providing support through our non-clinical support services. We had a long consultation process, including external consultation with Joe Collegia and Carrie Lumbey,